Imagine you just bought a new game and you're really excited about it. Then later you're talking to one of your friends, and it just so happens they have also been playing that game. But as they talk more about it, something seems off. Then your friend suggests you go over to their house and play the game together. But once you get there, something is off. The case has the same cover art as yours, the name is the same, and the main character looks the same, but this game is completely different from the one you have at home. Why? Well, there was one key difference between your game and your friends: the console it was released on. In the year 2000, the PlayStation 2 was released, and a little over a year later, the Xbox was released. 4 years after that, the Xbox 360 released, and a year after that, the PlayStation 3 was released. As with every competing console release that followed, these consoles received the same games with the exception of any exclusives. But there is one key player that is missing from this competition, that being Nintendo. Around the same time the Xbox was released, Nintendo also released their console, the GameCube, which, although slightly underperforming the PlayStation 2 and Xbox, it still held and played similar games. Later, when Sony and Microsoft were releasing the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, Nintendo released another console, the Wii. Despite coming out about 5 years after the GameCube, the Wii was essentially a supercharged version of the GameCube, and was severely underpowered when compared to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3. For game developers, this was an interesting situation. Because the PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 were so powerful in comparison to the Wii, it was difficult for developers to downscale a game to fit on the Wii without creating what was essentially an entirely different game. So they did. Games would get a PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 version, and then they would get a very dumbed down version for the Wii. Pretty similar to how things currently are, but with one key difference. There were also other consoles that still had some support at the time. The original Xbox and the GameCube to some extent, but most importantly the PlayStation 2. Despite Microsoft essentially ending all support for the original Xbox as soon as the 360 was released, the PlayStation 2 received a different treatment. In fact, the PlayStation 2 had hundreds of games released between 2006 and 2013, which was almost half of the PlayStation 3's lifespan. This was also well past when support ended for the original Xbox. But why? Remember, the Wii was essentially getting a completely different version of games that also came out on the PlayStation 3 and 360, so developers had a great idea. The PlayStation 2 was still incredibly popular, and they had pretty much figured out how to push it to its limits. So instead of just creating a Wii version, what if instead they created a PlayStation 2 version and then upscaled the game and put it on the Wii? Or what if they created a Wii version and just downscaled the graphics so it was playable on the PlayStation 2? This resulted in tons of games that may have never seen a release on PlayStation 2 getting their own version of the game. This brings us back to the story at the beginning of the video, which happened to me when the video game The Force Unleashed was released. I had the PlayStation 3 version of the game, whereas my friend had the PlayStation 2 version of the game. These two versions are vastly different, with one of the main differences being the way Starkiller holds his lightsaber. While the game was developed to work on the PlayStation Portable and PlayStation 2, it was mainly created with the Wii in mind, which uses motion controls. So having Starkiller hold his lightsaber backwards wouldn't make much sense. Another major difference is that the PlayStation 2 version actually has multiplayer. There are plenty of other differences and versions of the game, including a DS version and an N-Gage version. There are tons of videos exploring all of the differences between the versions if that's something you're interested in, as I won't be going into all of them here. A few other games the Wii and PlayStation 2 share are Okami, Bully, Silent Hill Shattered Memories, and annual sports games like Madden, FIFA, and WWE. But there is one game that was released on every mainline console available at the time: Ratatouille. This game has the largest simultaneous release of any game. It came out on PlayStation 2 and 3, Xbox and Xbox 360, GameCube, Wii, PC, Mac, DS, PlayStation Portable, Game Boy Advance, and mobile. That would mean you could have the same game in the top and bottom slot of your DS. The main reason this game was released on so many consoles was the fact that the license for a successful movie like Ratatouille could be very expensive, and studios would create games on as many consoles as possible in order to make that money back, and to reach a wide array of audiences. The popularity of licensed games combined with the ability to easily port PlayStation 2 games to the Wii, or vice versa, resulted in one of the most interesting phenomena to ever occur in gaming, where a single console lasted as long as two of its competitors' consoles, when normally it would have lost support much later. The Wii may have been incredibly underpowered compared to the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, but it caused something to happen that may never happen again.